It was a matter of time. That was my immediate reaction when I heard what happened between OpenAI and Hugging Face. OpenAI was testing advanced models on cybersecurity problems. The models were inside what was supposed to be a restricted environment. But instead of staying inside that environment and solving the test the way everybody expected, the models found another path. They got access to the internet. They targeted a program and a company called Hugging Face, and they compromised production infrastructure to get the answers they were looking for. Now, I want to be careful here. According to OpenAI, the company did not intentionally tell these models to attack Hugging Face. OpenAI has called this an unprecedented cyber incident, and the investigation is still ongoing. But that doesn't make the story less serious. In any sense, it probably makes it more. Because the model was trying to do a good job. It was trying to complete the objective. We have built systems that are rewarded for producing results. And when the obvious path didn't work, the model kept looking for another path. That is the part every CEO and CFO needs to understand. The danger is not that a computer woke up and became evil. The danger is speed, persistence, access, and an objective being pursued without enough boundaries. Guardrails, as we like to call them. Welcome to The Digital Dilemma. I am Nick Dreyfus, Vice President of Business Development for i-NETT. And today we're going to talk about what happened, why it matters to your business, and what you need to ask your technology team before an AI-enabled attack finds one of the weaknesses nobody's tested or you don't even know is going to be prevalent in your environment. Now, let us get into it. Let's talk about what happened. Let me give you the clean version of this story. OpenAI says it was running an internal evaluation designed to measure advanced cyber capabilities. The models included GPT 5.6 Sol and more capable pre-released model. For the evaluation, normal production safeguards were reduced so that the researchers could see these systems and how they were actually capable of what to do. The environment was intended to be highly isolated. The models were supposed to work on a cybersecurity benchmark called Exploit Gym, but they identified and chained together weaknesses across the research environment. They got internet access. They interfered that, let me say that again. They inferred that Hugging Face might have a benchmark material they needed. Then they compromised Hugging Face's infrastructure to obtain those solutions. Think about what that means. The model was given a goal. It encountered a barrier, and it treated that barrier as another problem to solve. And this is where I think a lot of public conversations gets completely distracted and missed. People immediately go to science fiction. They start talking about Skynet. They start asking whether AI is alive or whether it has bad intentions. That is not the business conversation I want to have. The business conversation is much simpler. What happens when you give a system an objective, access to tools, and the ability to keep trying, but your controls do not anticipate every route they might take? OpenAI has some of the best AI researchers in the world. That is absolutely not even a question. Hugging Face is also one of the most sophisticated AI platforms in the world. And this still happened to these monstrous, amazing companies with amazing people on both teams. So if you're running a $50 million or $100 million company and your plan is, we install the firewall, so we're covered, I need you to hear this clearly. A firewall is necessary. Antivirus is necessary. Backups are also necessary. But no single product is enough, especially when the other side can automate its learning, change its approach, and try again. Now, let's talk about the market and how it's already showing a certain pattern. CEOs and CFOs have seen a version of this before. Some of you remember the flash crash in 2010. The market dropped roughly 1,000 points and recovered within about 20 minutes. There were multiple factors involved, but automated trading helped instability move through interconnected markets at a speed human beings could not control in real time. Then 2 years later, Knight Capital had an automated trading failure. In the first 45 minutes after the market opened, its software sent more than 4 million orders while trying to fill only 212 customer orders. Knight Capital took on billions of dollars of unwanted positions and lost more than $460 million. 45 minutes. That is more than $10 million a minute. And here's the lesson. The software did not need to be intelligent. It only needed to operate faster than the people responsible for recognizing, containing, and recovering from the problem. AI adds another layer to that problem because now the system can adapt. It can try one route, fail, and then try another. NIST studied repeated attacks against AI agents. On average, attack success increased from 57% on attempt 1 to 80% after repeated attempts. That supports exactly what should concern us. An attacker does not have to be right the first time. The system can keep testing. It can keep changing. It can keep looking for the weak door, the old server, the forgotten account, the bad permission, or the application nobody patched. And that is why I say it matters all of the time. And let me say that again. And it is why this is not just an OpenAI story. This is a story about the next phase of cybersecurity for every business. Now, here's what we see after that attack. We see this all the time. Typically, we're brought in because a company has already been attacked and hacked, and now we're being asked to recover everything. And when we get there, the company says, but we had enterprise-grade equipment. We had servers. We had a firewall. We had backups. We thought we were protected. Maybe they have an end-of-life server. That means the manufacturer no longer supports with the security updates it needs. Maybe permissions are too broad. Maybe the environment is not segmented correctly. Maybe an attacker compromised one system, elevated privileges, and uses that position to move into other connected systems, like what happened with Target when they went through the air conditioning system. Attackers now know that companies that have been around for 10, 15, or 20 years often have old infrastructure somewhere. They do not need every system to be weak. They only need one. And now put AI behind that effort. It can scan, it can compare, it can try another path. It can take something that used to require a lot of manual work and make it repeatable. There are more than 36 million small businesses in the United States, according to the SBA. Attackers do not need to succeed every time. At that scale, even a teeny success rate can create thousands of victims. The hackers do not necessarily care about your data. They know that you care about your data. They know you need to print, invoice, run payroll, manage HR, do accounting, handle sales, marketing, production, shipping, and customer service. If any of that part of that process involves a computer, taking that system away creates leverage. And this is the business model. Now, a green check mark is not a business continuity. Now, I want to tell you about a situation that should change the way every CEO and CFO looks at backups. We sat down with a company and showed them a plan. They liked the plan and they understood the vulnerabilities, but the money was not in the current year's budget. They asked to wait for about 4.5 months until the next budget cycle. A month later and a half, during one of the biggest holiday weekends of the year, they had an incident. A technician from a respected national technology company was working to expand a server storage array. A human mistake happened, and the array was formatted. The data was essentially erased. They had nothing. So the team did what everybody assumes will work. They went to yesterday's backup. Problem was, the data was corrupt. It was not usable. They went back 2 weeks, 5 weeks, several months. The latest working backup they could recover was more than 6 months old. For months, somebody had been looking at a green checkbox and saying, yep, it backed up. but nobody had proven that the business could recover in that type of an incident. That is the difference between having backups and having business continuity. A backup is a copy. Business continuity means you know exactly how long it takes to restore the system that produces revenue, pay your people, serve your clients, and keep the company moving forward. If your company could lose $100,000 for every hour those systems are unavailable, then your recovery plan probably needs to be built around that number, about an hour, not around a green checkbox. Your IT team should conduct planned, isolated recovery exercises. Your CEO, CFO should understand the recovery target. They should see the results, be there for that Saturday afternoon, Sunday night, whenever you're going to run it, and be there and see those results and verify them. And the team should be able to improve over time. Yeah, the first time they're going to do this, it may take them 12, 14, 26 hours. That's okay, because each month they can try and get a little better. And now you have a real number. And now you're not going into this incident knowing we're going to be down a week. We're going to be down 2 days. Now you can get it in 10 hours the next time, then 8, then 4. And now you're approaching what your business continuity needs to be. That is management. That is accountability. And yes, when your team keeps improving that recovery time, reward them. They're protecting the trajectory of the business. Now, going back to automation and how it can turn one miss into 100,000 failures. We saw another version of this inside of a manufacturer with about 135 employees. The company automated a part of the product development process. One software problem made it through. The quality assurance process did not include the right human verification after the first products came off the line. So they shipped approximately 100,000 products. Then the software update caused these products to completely fail. The product became unusable. The company had to stop taking new orders while it worked through the issue, and it took about 2 months for them to fix the underlying problem and roughly 5 more months to replace the affected products and restart normal ordering. Nearly 40% of their customers had asked for their money back in that meantime. Think about what that does to a company. It's not only the cost of rebuilding the products, it's the refunds, the lost production, and lost new sales. Customers who may never come back again. Employees diverted from growth. Customer trust, future renewals, reputation. One miss became 100,000 failures because automation repeated it perfectly. And this is the point I want CEOs and CFOs to take away. Automation does not remove the need for people. It changes where the people need to be. You need human beings setting the boundaries, humans validating the first results, humans watching for exceptions, humans testing recovery, humans deciding what authority and the system should have. The right goal is not to eliminate people. The right goal is to eliminate repetitive work so your people can spend their time on decisions that actually protect and grow the business. Now, security is the last place to buy the cheapest. Now, here's where I may disagree with some managed services providers and some internal IT teams. Security is the absolute last thing you can do cheap right now. That does not mean every expensive product is good. And it does not mean every open source product is bad. Some open source tools can be outstanding. The question is whether the tool is appropriate for your environment, professionally supported, properly configured, monitored, tested, and backed by people who know what the hell they're doing. We walk into companies and find tools that were chosen primarily because they were free or inexpensive. Sometimes an outside provider made that decision. Sometimes an internal IT team made it because leadership said, get us covered, but do it cheaply. That is not necessarily the IT team's fault. Leadership created the incentive. Enterprise-grade security is not only another feature on a comparison sheet, it's often about the team behind the platform. People who live and breathe that technology. People who investigate alerts, reduce false positives, and help identify the incidences that actually need a human response. That allows your internal team or managed services provider to focus on work that is specific to your business. It also creates accountability. When something gets flagged, who owns it? Who verifies it? Who can explain it to the CEO in plain language? And who can help the company respond? A cheap checkbox cannot answer those questions. Now, your MSP may be good at IT and still not ready for AI, and that's okay. The average managed services provider may be very good at managed services. That doesn't automatically mean they understand AI deployment, agents, governance, or new cybersecurity risks that come along with them. Policies, procedures, those are different disciplines. You need a partner who understands when to build an agent, when not to build one, what data it should be allowed to access, what actions require human approval, how costs can grow, and how to monitor what the agent is actually doing. Is it eating tokens that it shouldn't be, wasting your money? At i-NETT, we also benefit from a larger peer community through Technology Assurance Group. We talk regularly with providers operating in different markets and compare what we're all seeing. That real-world experience matters because the threat landscape changes faster than any one company can learn on its own. But I want to be fair with your current provider. Ask them the questions. They may know every answer today, and that's okay if they're honest, actively learning, building the right partnerships, and giving you a responsible plan. If they've been an awesome partner and they're moving forward with you, give them that chance. Chances are they're going to be awesome again. But if you push them on AI deployment, data access, security controls, testing, and recovery, well, and if they can't answer those basic questions, then maybe you should find someone or at least compare it to another prospective company. Not because you're disloyal, because you're responsible CEO or CFO and executive leader. AI is creating a new job inside your business. Now, people keep asking whether AI is eliminating jobs. Right now, what I see is AI is creating new responsibilities inside every single serious company. You need an AI partner. That might be an internal person, it might be an outside or external person, and it may be, in most cases, a combination of both. But somebody needs to live, eat, and breathe this technology for your company. Somebody needs to understand workflows, which repetitive tasks should be automated, which tasks need human judgment, which does an agent become too expensive, and what company data can use it. How do we test it? How do we know it is producing value? And I will tell you something. Do not overlook your younger employees. I see people in Gen Z doing amazing things with AI because they've been experimenting with it from the beginning. They ask, how can this help me study better? How can it help me understand this particular book in words that would be better for me? How can I make it better at this particular task? That curiosity is valuable. Pair it with experience, business judgment, security, and governance, and you may have one of the most valuable teams inside your organization. The answer is not to hand a young employee keys to the company. That is not what I'm saying. The answer is to combine curiosity with accountability. Now, cyber insurance. A CEO may hear all of this and say, we have cyber insurance. The financial risk is covered. Well, cyber insurance can be an important part of the plan, but it is not just the only plan. Every policy has conditions, exclusions, notification requirements, and a response procedures. Those details vary. You need to know what your policy requires before an incident, during an incident, and after the incident. Who are you supposed to call first? Which response firms are approved? What security controls did you represent on the application? What happens if those controls were not operating the way you said that they were? What interruption, recovery, and third-party costs are actually covered? Those are CFO questions. At i-NETT, our approach includes financially underwritten protection through an insurance policy associated with the security framework we deploy. The purpose is to align technology process with the financial protection. But no responsible person should stand here and tell you that insurance makes the incident harmless. Your company could still be down. Your people could still be unable to work. Your clients could still lose confidence. Your growth plan could be disrupted. Insurance transfers certain financial risks. It doesn't transfer leadership responsibility. Now, what the CEO and CFO should do this week. I do not want you to finish this episode scared. I want you to finish it clear. You do not need to panic about AI, but you do need to prove that your business can prevent, detect, contain, and recover from the ways AI changes the threat. Start with 3 questions your internal IT leader or managed services provider can answer. Question 1, what are we protecting? And where are the old or unsupported systems? Do not accept a product list as the answer. Ask for the business map. Which systems run production, billing, payroll, HR, accounting, sales, customer service? Which ones are end of life? Which ones have broad permissions? What would an attacker target first? If they're not able to answer that question, then you need to go to a third-party firm that can run a scan on your network independently and find that for you. Question 2, show me that our recovery actually works. Not a green checkbox. Show me the last recovery exercise. What was restored? How long did it take? What failed? What improved? What was our recovery target time based on the financial costs of downtime? If nobody can show you, then you do not know that you can answer and have that proper recovery time. Again, if those aren't able to be answered, bring in a third party that can run that scan and help you verify what that business continuity time is for you. Question 3, what authority are we giving AI and who is watching it? What agents are being used? What data can be accessed? Can they send messages, change records, run code, approve payments, or even connect to customer systems? Which actions require human approval? How are unusual behaviors detected? And then ask one follow-up question. How do you know? Because policy without testing is hope. Security without monitoring is also hope. Backups without recovery, also hope. And hope is not a business continuity plan. Now, the OpenAI and Hugging Face incident is going to be remembered as an important moment, not because it proved that AI is evil, because it showed us what can happen when capable systems pursues an objective beyond the boundaries people expected it to respect. And that is the dilemma. The same persistence that makes AI valuable can make it dangerous when access, testing, and accountability are weak. The companies that win over the next 6 to 12 months are not going to be companies that avoid AI. They're going to be companies that are using it intentionally. They will have the right people, the right partner, and the right guardrails, and the ability to prove that their business can recover when something goes wrong. If you like your existing IT provider, start there. Share this episode. Ask the 3 questions. Give them the opportunity to show you their plan. And if you need another perspective, that is the conversation we have with CEOs and CFOs every single day. We will sit down with you. We will look at your environment and your AI use, your critical business systems, your recovery plan. We will give you a clear picture of where you are and what needs attention and what order makes sense. No panic, no pressure, just clarity. And if you want to have that conversation, the link is in the video description or on the show notes, because the real cost of doing nothing is the potential loss of your business. Thanks for spending time with me today in this episode. If this episode was useful, share it with a fellow CEO or CFO who needs to hear it. Follow The Digital Dilemma on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, take care of your business and take care of your people. I am Nick Dreyfus, Vice President of Business Development for i-NETT. Have a great day.